It says going live, and I think it's live.
Indeed.
Okay, so what happens with me is there's a little blue box that goes over that live light, and then
Uh-huh.
I can't tell if it's yellow or not. So, but it says live now, so we're live. Hey, internet friends, this is Magic Brad and Synergy Cafe, Synergy Collaborative. I haven't done my hair yet today, and we've got another talk on the topic of meditation. And today oh, it's 5 o'clock, and my grandfather clock is bonging here. So the topic is, what can I expect when I meditate? And we've got Damon Dickinson again. And Damon, are you on?
Hey, Bradley. I am. I'm here. I've got a little bit of
He's
head
there.
on too with this cold weather, so I'm with you on the hairdo.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
It's the Friday afternoon, early pre-weekend fashion look.
Yeah, it's no fashion show today. We just woke up from a deep meditation. That's what it was. I actually did. I was listening to some of that Paul Sheely stuff just a little while ago.
Paul Sheely is amazing. I love his aeroliminals.
Yeah, where it goes in the left ear and the right ear.
Yeah,
He's
well,
talking
he's
at the
got the
same time.
Ericksonian style of hypnosis down where he tells a story, and yeah, that the two voices, one in each ear, is just amazing. It is its own phenomenon. I love it.
What's really cool too is while you're listening to it and you're hearing stuff and you're hearing a sentence in this ear and then there's a certain word, and the sentence in this ear there's a different sentence, but then the same word hits at the same time.
Yeah, no, he's
Pretty
genius.
wild.
That's really amazing.
Well, let's get into our program. So today we're talking again about meditation, and the question for beginners is, what can I expect when I meditate?
Absolutely frickin' anything.
Could you be a little more vague?
Well, for one, it depends on the meditation that you're doing to some degree. And it's interesting because for me, in my experience with meditation, that very often in the very beginning with a new form of meditation, I'll have really powerful, blissful experiences when I first start. I remember one of the very first meditations I ever did, which was, I was just reading this book and it said, just start counting your breath to 100. If you lose count, then start over. And it was literally one of the first times I ever meditated, and I started doing that, just taking in a breath, counting my breath. By the time I got to about 20 or 30, I was high as a kite, and I wasn't hyperventilating or anything. I was in this beautiful state of like present bliss, and I was like, oh my God, it's this easy? And so I remembered that, and then I remember, as I continue to meditate and practice that, there's like a certain level of tolerance, just like you do to pretty much anything that you're going to do. Even, I was thinking of a drug, because drugs are quite instantly, effective in a lot of different things, an illness or pain relief, that sort of thing. But then it tapers off, like the body adjusts and there's a certain quality even to meditation where that starts to happen. I believe that those levels are still there, but we become adjusted to them. And so many times in the very beginning, I would call it the pink cloud syndrome, where we have just these beautiful, blissful, easy experiences with meditation. Now, on the other side of that, I know many, many people who have a terrible time trying to begin meditating because it's just so difficult for them to, quote unquote, sit still, be quiet, sit still. And, again, as a beginning meditator and someone who coaches people in meditation, what I say was a sitting meditation is probably not the best modality for you to begin with. Find a movement meditation, whether it be dance, whether it be walking, whether it be trail running for that matter, but something that engages your body in a way you can be fully present and allow that to be your meditation, the thing that you focus on to help you stay present. Then try something simpler. It'll come from there. So find a modality that you enjoy. That's the most important thing. And so then what you can expect is a more enjoyable experience.
So like with the sitting meditation, you got to get comfortable, and maybe your back might start getting weird, and that's going to distract you, whereas if you're just meditative walking, it's not going to irritate you so much. Unless
Yeah.
maybe you're going up a hill or something.
Yes. And I find walking meditation to be one of the very, very best beginner meditations that people can do, because it does basically engage all of your senses, and it actually forces or enforces more focus, because you're moving your legs. You potentially, depending on the walking meditation, you have a mantra or you have something to listen to that's guiding you. And then also the smiling, because the first walking meditation I learned was through Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a very highly regarded teacher of the Vinyasa form of Buddhist meditation, and there's three parts to it. There's smiling, and that's where I first discovered smiling. I know I've mentioned this to you, but I don't know if we've mentioned it on the webinar. And he said, "Let your smile be the source of your joy until your joy becomes the source of your smile." And it was just the most profound thing, and I found it to be true. When I started smiling, it changed my state. And so, smiling. And then they teach you this sort of sing-song mantra. It's like 5 or 6 verses. And then you're walking at the same time. And so you're taking steps, and he talks about walking very slowly with no direction or goal in mind, but just to be walking. And it was amazing to practice that basic form of walking meditation.
Okay, so I have a question as far as the what can I expect when I meditate. Is it, if you're doing like one form of meditation, you're starting to do it on a daily basis, is that kind of whatever experience you have, is that what you can kind of expect every single day, or could there possibly be some weird thing coming through the cosmos and the universe that makes your experience be totally different than it was the earlier day when you did the exact same thing?
That is a great question, and a good point to cover. It does vary, and there's several variables. Our consciousness is in a different place from day to day, and even from hour to hour. From morning to noon to night, we're in a different place, a different space. Our energy's in a different place. And those is a beginning place, because part of meditation is we're tuning into a deeper part of how we're feeling, what we're thinking, what's happening around us. So all those kind of tap into the overall experience. And I have found that over time we do, again, gain tolerance. Our mind especially can get bored very quickly. We can even start, as we go deeper, as we really do start to relax, the deeper emotional part of ourselves that's been repressed, I believe, that's stored, especially in our nervous system, that we've kind of like been holding, starts to unravel. And so all kinds of things can start to bubble up that either were there before but we weren't aware of them, like certain thought patterns, or trauma of one form or another that has been stored that now wants to come up to be healed, to be loosened. And a lot of people do experience different, what we would consider negative experiences, once they actually get into a practice and start practicing. And it does change from day to day. Some days it's blissful still, more than I could ever imagine or expect, and other days it's flat. Other days it can be really difficult. And it is like any other discipline. If anybody's ever gone to the gym, some days we look forward to it. Some days it's just another thing to do, to show up at the gym, and some days we'd rather do anything but.
But I mean the experience that happens after the meditation happens, or when you're in it. I was thinking of another question, and that was, is meditation and hypnosis kind of the same?
That's a good question. From a place of hypnosis, quite often does bring us into deeper brainwave state patterns of alpha and theta. There are a lot of very similar effects on the nervous system, on the brain. The biggest distinction is with hypnosis, you're usually very consciously allowing new input to be coming in. There's either something that's recorded and guided that you're listening to, so you're looking to reprogramming something in your consciousness. Unless you're watching TV, then you're in a passive state of hypnosis, which is very dangerous in my opinion. Or with meditation, you're more consciously in the state of meditating and allow actually a lot of the old stuff to be released. So anything that's not, anything that's directly hindering your ability to be present comes up to be released. And I mean, I've had all kinds of wild stuff come up. Old songs, old movies, old memories, all those things start to flow out that keep us from being present. It can be quite wild.
How about like out-of-body experience?
I've had some of that happen too. Usually not in shorter periods of meditation, but when I've done longer like retreat meditations where we might be sitting for hours at a time, as much as 12 to 16 hours a day, you know, with hour breaks, but continuous meditation, it's like sitting in a whole nother world sometimes. It's like a whole 3D world will open up around you, and you come back out like you were in a dream state, and then come back into your body, and it can be pretty wild what can take place, how the mind can create different things.
So that's kind of what you, when we first opened up here, you said anything can possibly happen.
It's true.
Yeah. I had a situation when I was in Bali once with a friend, and I was there with him and his wife, and then we had found this other woman that had written a book on UFOs and stuff, and her and I were sitting at the table waiting for my friend and his wife to get ready, and we were just talking, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but I was just like gone, and it's like it was more like I didn't have any physical form.
Right.
Not even like a little bullet of energy or anything. I was just like all that is. And all I can remember is I saying, where are we going? And she said, it doesn't matter. And I said, when are we going back? And she said, whenever you want. And I don't know if it was 5 minutes or an hour.
Right.
It was a bizarre experience that happened very, very fast. I don't know if that has anything to do with meditation, but it was in my head, so I threw it out there.
Well, it can be because, you know, in meditation a lot of times we're moving into a more passive, surrendered state. And in our last conversation yesterday, you know, we got into the subject between heart and mind and soul versus spirit. And quite often what can happen in a state of meditation, consciously or unconsciously, is we'll actually slip into a soul consciousness level or state of consciousness where we can travel without our body. Literally whatever part is still like embodying our body will float back up and out, and we'll astral travel into other dimensions in space and time and move around and then come back into the body, and that soul, call it soul traveling, soul consciousness, astral traveling, or some of the different words for it.
That must have been what it was.
Even the government, you know, did several years, and they still do. It's called remote viewing, and they use it in a very high level form of you want to say spying or research. I mean, even on other planets, they literally like will have a question or a mission within a sealed envelope, and the person that's developed this ability, some are born with it, but then they develop it, are able to like travel to the other side of the planet, Earth, or even to Mars, and report with great accuracy as to the location, the time, the space, what's happening in that place. And they're able to confirm it. It's called remote viewing, and they've been doing that for many, many years.
It's interesting you started mentioning that stuff about the planets and all that kind of stuff, because you know there was a post that I put out with these webinars we're doing. I put it out on Google Plus. I'm not sure if you saw it, but someone chimed in and said, "I'm getting a bad vibe from both of you."
Guys, yeah, I had a chuckle on that.
And then I went and looked at his page because he doesn't have his picture or nothing on there, and all he's got is UFO stuff on there.
Right.
Oh, it's fun. Okay, so we've kind of gone into, I think it's 10, almost 15 minutes on this, and of course we don't want to do them too long to take people's valuable time. So is there anything else you want to throw in?
I do believe what intention we set is a lot of what we will receive in our meditation. So, you know, setting an intention, and this is where prayer starts to come into the picture with aligning and influencing our experience. So for me, meditation is a way for me to get closer to the Creator and actually allow my consciousness to be purified and to be able to see more clearly in the present moment in the bigger picture. Now, all those other cool things like remote viewing and soul traveling and all that, they're fun and interesting, but for me, they're not the real purpose or the real point of the greatest value that we can receive from meditation, or what we could actually expect, than to become deeper and more deeply connected to our self, our true self, our spiritual self, which is different from soul, and to the Creator, and to develop our relationship to our Creator more consciously. And that's what I like to teach and share and create as the intention. When I do that, my meditations are almost always very consistently very blissful, very healing, very enlightening, in the sense that if I really set intention to learn or receive information to help me learn in my life what's going on, that I get greater benefit from it.
Okay, so we can summarize by saying what a person can expect is to manifest their intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Toodaloo.
So let's sign this off at Bong. It's 15 minutes or so since we've been on. So
Awesome.
Again, appreciate you taking the time, Damon. I know you got some big stuff happening tonight that you got to psych up for.
Got some Taekwondo testing to hit.
Right. Folks, Damon's going to be testing for his... Are you testing for black?
No, I'm just supporting our community. I will be testing for first degree black belt this summer in August.
Woohoo! I've been there. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'll look forward to you coming to my testing.
Well, maybe I will. I suppose I should.
Better.
I won't be on the panel, though. Okay, Captain, we can talk more on that later. I get to see you Sunday.
Yes.
And we'll be on tomorrow.
Yeah, let's tune into that, because I actually will be in the second part of testing tomorrow.
Okay, we'll work it up, make it work, however it does. Okay, folks, peace, love, and happiness. Magic Brad signing off. If you want to get a hold of us, you can just Google it or look on the website or the video. Okay, see you, Damon.
Bye, Bradley.